something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, as you guys can see, I'm in a bit of a different setup right now. I just moved into a new place here in Miami, so getting everything set up. I got the flamingo painting, the infamous flamingo painting, in the background. And yeah, man, I'm gonna try my best to do these lives in the mornings when I wake up, because I do wake up pretty early, and I think it'd be good. I think it'll be good just to talk about stuff in the morning. When everything is fresh. But listen, we got a lot to talk about in boxing, so I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I got roughly what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to run through 6 things before we end this live. I'll talk to you guys for like an hour or so, and then we'll head on out of here. But make sure y'all smash that like button. Shout out to everybody here. Smash that like button. It helps the channel. It helps the YouTube know that you're rocking with your boy True School Sports, because they be trying to, stack the algorithms against me. Like YouTube is like Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders. They don't want to see your boy BT succeed, but we still here and we're still punching. So that's what it is. But let's talk about it, because this was the big news yesterday. Shout out to my man Slotello. I see you in the comments commenting away. Let's talk about it. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. It was made official yesterday. They're saying June 6th, Hard Rock Stadium, right here in the new mecca of boxing, South Florida. And what do I make of it? Well, first of all, I think right now with this, I don't want to call it a fight, because it's not a fight. It's a cash grab. It's a spectacle. It's a money grab. That's what this fight is. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul is not a good fight. Like I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I like Floyd Mayweather. I respect Floyd Mayweather. It's gonna be fun. I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna bullshit around. It is not a good fight. Logan Paul is not a good fighter. Logan Paul is not like his brother Jake. Jake can fight. Jake got that one-hitter quitter. Jake's exposing these hype jobs. He's knocking them out, folding these guys up in like a blue steel chair, and he's delivering excitement. Logan Paul, on the other hand, he lost to KSI and didn't look too good doing it. So I'm not speaking as somebody who hasn't watched him fight. I'm not speaking someone who is a hater. No, I've watched him fight. But yeah, June 6th, Hard Rock Stadium, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather. It's an interesting week because Miami is now the official. Look, what you can love it or you can hate it, but South Florida, Miami is the new mecca of boxing. This cements it. That weekend, the day before Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather, you're gonna have Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos at Marlins Park. That's June 5th. Then the next day is Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul at Hard Rock Stadium. So we're talking about 2 big fights, 2 big events, both in Miami. We had Canelo Alvarez fight in Miami earlier this year, and Miami's just been getting a lot of fights. We just had Demetrius Andre here not too long ago. We've been getting a lot of big fights, and I really feel like boxing, when we talk about the meccas of boxing, Miami right now in this global pandemic, so to speak, is becoming that. So shout out to South Florida. South Florida, stand up. But let's talk about the stipulations and what exactly are the terms of this fight. So obviously, I've seen Logan Paul in person. He's a big guy. Floyd Mayweather isn't that much of a big guy. There's going to be a 30-pound weight differential between them when they fight. So we're looking at Logan Paul. He can't weigh more than 190 pounds against Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather can't weigh more than 160 or something like that. So that's the whole I guess stipulations for the fight. They want to keep it within 30 pounds because they figure because Logan Paul isn't that great, because Logan Paul doesn't have the skill level of Floyd, in order to make up for that skill level, they want to give him the size advantage and all this stuff. So it is what it is, man. Like it would be very easy to sit here and get mad about it, but we've reached a point in boxing where everything is permissible. If it makes a dollar, then it makes sense. You can't really hate on anything these days, because what's the point of even sitting here getting angry about it? Floyd Mayweather a long time ago told us a long time ago that he's not gonna be fighting anymore. You know, the Andre Berto fight was the last fight. Now for Floyd, it's all about exhibitions and getting the most money possible. You know, and I can't really get mad at Floyd because this is a guy that fought. You know, he fought plenty of people when he was fighting. So if he wants to fight these guys, I'm not gonna get mad at him. You know, I'm not. It's gonna make him a lot of money. It's gonna bring a lot of eyes to the sport. So I guess in a way it could be good for boxing, but I'm not necessarily gassed about it. Now, on the other hand, you got Jake Paul, right? You got Jake Paul, and he's been going back and forth with Tommy Fury, and I'll be honest. I like this fight. I like Jake Paul against Tommy Fury a lot more than Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I know people want to shit on Jake Paul and they want to say Jake Paul isn't that great. He's fighting bums. He's a disgrace to boxing. All this stuff, but he takes the sport serious, and he's showing the ability. He's showing the ability to have that physical strength to knock these guys out quickly and swiftly. I know you can say he's fighting nobodies, but we've seen it a lot of times in boxing. I watch a lot of boxing. I watch a lot of the American fights, a lot of the British fights, and there's so many times where we see fighters fight nobodies and they don't get knockouts. And here we got Jake Paul who's doing the same thing. He's fighting nobodies, just like some of your favorite American fighters are fighting nobodies, and some of your favorite British fighters fighting nobodies. And he's folding them up like a blue steel chair, getting them out of there. Now, him and Tommy Fury have been going back and forth, and I want to see this fight. I actually want to see this fight. I can't believe that I'm talking about me wanting to see this fight, but I'm being honest. I want to see this fight because Tommy Fury hasn't fought nobody worth a damn. I mean, nobody. He's 5-0, 4 knockouts, but I've watched Tommy Fury fight on multiple occasions. He ain't fighting freaking nobody. He's fighting guys who are 0-29 and 10-102 and 0-11. You know, he's not fighting guys any worse than what Jake Paul's fighting. You know, so I don't really feel like it's that. I don't feel like the gap in class is that much bigger. You know, I know Tommy Fury might be Tyson Fury's younger brother, but make no mistake about it, he is no Tyson Fury. He is no Huey Fury. He is much lower in skill level than both of them. And I truly believe it's a 50-50 fight. It really is. You know, I watched Tommy Fury fight. He ain't carrying the kind of punching power that raw natural power that Jake Paul has. So I think it's an even fight. I really do. But Jake Paul had some things to say about Tommy Fury. He stated that Tommy Fury only named me because or that Tommy Fury only has a name because of him. That Jake is giving him clout. You know what I'm saying? And that he fluffed and padded his record. So I'm gonna read these quotes. Shout out to everybody here. I'm gonna get to your comments in a second after I get through this whole Jake Paul, Logan Paul thing. And so leave your comments down below. Smash that like button. I'll get to them in a timely fashion. But here's what Jake Paul said about Tommy Fury. He said, I quote, "No one has ever watched any of his fights. The only reason people even know of him is because of me. He started talking about me and his brother called me out on his behalf. No one has ever watched a Tommy Fury pay-per-view, so no one knows if he will do numbers at the box office. His promoter, Frank Warren, went on TV and said, send the contract 50-50. I was like, get out of here with that. The guy only has a name and has articles written about him because of me, and you're asking for 50-50. Take it somewhere else. Maybe when he fights someone with a winning record and a highlight performance, then it makes sense for us to fight. But until then, move on. Everybody wants to fight me everyone wants me to fight the best fighter in the world, but that's not how this fight game works. You build up your experience and you fight people at the same skill level. A lot of people fluff their record. Tommy Fury has fluffed his record like crazy. You see it all the time in boxing. The next test for me is to go up against a real striker, and we'll see what happens next. My main man, Jake Paul, he's speaking the truth. Listen, I didn't like him at first. I didn't mess with him at first. But I'll tell you right now, I fuck with Jake Paul now because he's exposing all the hype jobs. And when I say hype jobs, I mean people within the boxing industry and fans that don't hold him to the same standards they hold other fighters, because he's not doing anything different than any other fighter's doing. He's fighting nobodies in his first 2 or 3 fights. He's fighting guys around his experience level, and he's building his confidence, building his timing, building his in-ring experience, getting rounds, getting moments, getting situations in the bank so that when he decides to step up, he can be the best version of himself. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm glad he's saying this because I've been saying it for a long time. Tommy Fury, you know, he's someone that in the UK, you know, they say he's very marketable, and he was on Love Island, and he was a reality star and all this stuff. Okay, good for him. Good for him. He was on Love Island. He was a reality star. God bless Tommy Fury, but he ain't fought nobody. He been fighting cab drivers, Tesco clerk workers. You know, all those things. He fight nobody. So, like it or not, hate it or love it, if he fought Jake Paul and he beat Jake Paul would easily be the best name and the best fighter Tommy Fury's ever defeated in the professional ranks. And it's not even debatable. It's not even debatable. Don't take my word for it. Go look at his resume. He ain't fighting freaking nobody. So that's just my synopsis on Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. But let's get some comments. Shout out to my main man, Slotello. He says, no Floyd slander, please. Logan beats Jake. Go to Floyd versus Logan in Miami, please. I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try to go to the fight. I'm going to try to cover the fight. You know what? I might even try to go as a fan. Who knows, man? If I'll try to go as a fan, because honestly, I don't even want to cover the fight. I'll just go as a fan, and we'll see what happens. But who knows? I know normally when fighters come to Miami, they go to Fifth Street Gym. So I'll just go to Fifth Street Gym around that time, and I'll probably run into Floyd or Logan Paul, because that's where most fighters, when they come to Miami, they congregate at all Fifth Street Gym. That's a spot. Slotello also says Logan batters his little brother Jake. Logan was robbed clean as day in his first pro fight. Logan is better than Jake, dude. I saw Logan fight KSI and he lost. He lost straight away. He lost clear and easily to KSI. I don't think he beat KSI. Brandon White, what's good, champ? How you living? Thomas, shout out to my man Thomas. He says, yeah, it's going to be another 2 minutes for Floyd Mayweather, like what Floyd did to the Japanese kid to earn $7 million. You ain't telling me. What's going on, True School? What's going on? It's your boy, True School Sports. What's up, Jesus? How you living? You good? And yes, we're talking about it because listen, it was the big news yesterday. I figure why not? You know, I'll go live for it, talk about it in the morning. But I got about 5 or 6 other topics to talk about. So just bear with me. We will get through this really soon. Yeah, over here in the UK, Tommy Fury has clout from a reality show called Love Island. Yeah, exactly. Jed Kyle, what's up, champ? How you living? Good to see you, man. Troy Graham says, early bird, what's up? I saw you hanging with Major Key Boxing. Yeah, man. Shout out to you, Troy. Yeah, me and Pops, we just moved into this new apartment here in Miami, and I'm just getting settled in. You know, I got my own space now, so I'm trying to go live. I'm trying to make this a regular thing where I go live in the morning and just talk about some of the news in boxing, because I think it would make more sense to just talk about some of the news than to, you know, make 10 million videos about what's going on. So that's what I'm doing. And yeah, shout out to Major Key Boxing. I met Glenn Avery out there in Kissimmee at the Edgar Berlanga fight. He was really nice to me, and you know, I have a lot of respect for Glenn, and you know, I'm gonna go up there again, hopefully in the future, and meet him again, man, because I was a bit tired and my voice was hoarse when I met him, but yeah, you know, it was great seeing Glenn. But as far as Logan Paul versus Logan Paul versus Floyd, I mean, I take it for what it is. It's a trash fight, but it's going to be a big event. You know, it's a trash fight, but a big event. You know, we know when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, anything with Floyd is going to sell. When you look at Floyd Mayweather's Instagram following, he has about 25 million Instagram followers. Logan Paul has about 15 or 16. No. Logan Paul has about 19 million Instagram followers. So we're talking about these two fighters with a reach of 45 million plus. We're talking, if they even get 10% of that, that's like, wow, that's astronomically high for pay-per-view buys. So, all right, Troy Graham says, True School, question for you. If you were a promoter with a promotion company, would you get one of your young fighters to fight Logan and promote your company? But I'm not Mayweather. Would I get him a fight with Logan? If I was a promoter, yeah, I would. I mean, look, financially it makes sense. Business-wise, it makes sense. The only thing would be the only question I would have is, would Logan Paul or Jake Paul be willing to fight my fighter? Because look, I'm on social media a lot. You know, I follow a lot of fighters on Instagram, both, you know, famous fighters and not so much famous fighters. And I've seen fighters from all levels call out the both Logan Paul and Jake Paul. I've seen fighters like you know, locally here in South Florida, Blake Davis has called out Logan Jake Paul. Isaiah Night Thompson's called out Logan Paul. Who else has called out the Pauls? You know, and then you've seen it in other avenues of more popular fighters call these guys out. So anybody can call these guys out, but they gotta be willing to fight these guys in the ring. But I don't think. Look, I think Jake Paul and Logan Paul are both smart. They both know that they know what they are. They know what they are because they're in the gym. They're sparring professionals. So they know the level they're at. You know, Jake Paul just sparred Jean Pascal, and from what I was told from a valuable source in the gym, because I know somebody who goes to that gym where Jake Paul trains at. I was told that when Jean Pascal sparred Jake Paul, he was told to take it easy on Jake Paul, and he did, but it was good work. It was good, solid work. So they're very, very, very far off. That's true. That's true, Troy. You know, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna slander it too much. I mean, I'm calling it out for what it is. It's a trash fight, but it's gonna be a big event. It's gonna be great for. It could be great for boxing if they put the right fights on the undercard and the right fighters on the undercard. But you know, it is what it is, man. I can't really say much more than that. Now, I'm not gonna camp out too much on this. You know, I said what I needed to say. You know, but I want to see Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. That's a great fight for boxing. They're both around the same level, and if they're not around the same level, then have Tommy Fury sign a contract, have Jake Paul sign a contract, and the person that's truly better will win the fight. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. I'll be back. Hold on. Don't come in. Go. 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 Make noise. Come over here. My bad, guys. No, Troy. No, it's not. Hey, shout out to my man, Kingdom Cuts, Yoasis. Hey, so for those of you who don't know, my man in the comments down there, Yoasis, he laced me up yesterday. I went down to the Kingdom Cuts Barbershop. If you don't know about Kingdom Cuts Barbershop, that's in a part of Miami called Kendall. So if you guys, for any of you out there, if you ever come to Miami and you need a fresh haircut, go down to Kingdom Cuts Barbershop in Kendall and tell them I sent you. But no, Logan Paul versus Floyd is not the same day as Teofimo Lopez Kambosos. Kambosos versus Teofimo Lopez is June 5th at Marlins Park, or they call it Lone Depot Park now, but it's at the Marlins Stadium, Marlins Park. And Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul will be June 6th, the following day at Hard Rock Stadium, which is where Canelo Alvarez had his most recent fight against Avni Yildirim, which is also where the Miami Dolphins play in the NFL. So that's what it is there. But we're going to switch gears because there's about 4 or 5 more things I want to run through. We're not going to make this a 2 or 3 hour live today. This is going to be like maybe an hour, 15-minute top. So our next story is this. So Triller, shout out to Triller. Triller has filed a lawsuit. Now listen to this. I want y'all to really listen to what I'm saying. Triller has filed a lawsuit against 12 websites that are alleging the piracy of the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren pay-per-view. Basically, Triller is suing. They're suing some of our favorite streaming sites for them showing Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. So one of the sites that was named, for this whole lawsuit for Triller was our friends, the fine folks at Crack Streams that we use all the time for the live fight reactions here. Crack Streams is getting sued along with 10 other 10 other streaming sites. So basically what happened is this. Jake Paul and Askren sold about 1.5 million pay-per-view buys, but I'll read you the quote. This is the quote directly from the lawyers of Triller in regards to what the lawsuit entails. So it says, I quote, Triller seeks in excess of $100 million against the defendants, and each of them all who are cyber criminals for their outright theft and diversion of upwards 2 million unique viewers by providing them with illegal and unauthorized viewings of the broadcast of Jake Paul versus Ben Askren boxing event. Triller instituted this action to obtain remedy and to permanently hinder the blatantly unlawful infringement and rampant theft of its copyrighted work by the defendants. Defendants, each of them, have utilized various torrent and streaming websites such as YouTube.com, FirmDaily.com, CrackStreamsLive.com, BioLessSports.com. I mean, they going in. They are pulling no punches, Triller. And basically they're suing them. And if the lawsuits if the lawsuits are paid in full, the lawsuits could be worth up in excess of 1.5 billion, not 1.5 million, but 1.5 billion dollars. So it's a lot of money that Triller is seeking from all these people. But honestly, look, when you get to the nitty gritty of it, it's really a cat and mouse game. They're suing them, yes. The lawsuit was filed, yes. But this is really more of a Triller is looking more toward their future interests. So basically, the reason they file these lawsuits is to strike fear into people that are streaming the fight, so that the next time the Triller has a pay-per-view event, Triller won't be they won't lose as many buys because there won't be as many streams. If there's less streams, more people will buy the event. So this is really that's really all this is for. I wouldn't read too much into it because we've seen the same thing happen. We've seen the same thing happen in the music industry with the piracy of music, and they've been trying to crack down on that for years, and that hasn't happened over there. So just reporting it. I'm just letting y'all know because I thought it was interesting because they're suing crack streams, man. I can't believe they're suing the great crack streams because that's been my go-to site whenever I don't want to pay for a fight, But Ryan Kavanaugh, who is the CEO of Triller, he had some comments on this. Here's what Ryan Kavanaugh, the guy who owns Triller, here's what he said in regards to that. He said, I quote, "It's shocking to think of a theft so grand and that it can be done so blatantly and brazenly and with no remorse. There is zero difference between what they did and walking into a market, stealing tons of a product and selling it at a discount in the parking lot. It's neither civilly nor criminally any different, and we are prosecuting to the fullest extent of the law. There were more than 2 million illegal streams, akin to hundreds of millions of dollars." All right, so it gets going in. Also, it is also worth noting, I mean, this stuff's pretty crazy. It is also worth noting that another company, there's a company that's under the umbrella of Triller called Wixon Publishing Music Incorporated, and they work in conjunction with Triller. So they're also seeking damages. They're saying that more than 1,000 songs have been used on there's a bunch of crazy stuff. You guys gotta go check the article on Boxing Team, but basically Wixon is seeking a bunch of money themselves too. So Triller is getting their ducks in a row legally so that they don't suffer financially on June 5th when Teofimo Lopez fights. So that's all this really is. But it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see. What do you guys think about it? It's not gonna work on illegal websites. They will never go away. We are good, my guy. Nah, I know that. I'm just reporting the story. That's all. Cause I thought it was interesting. We're good. And then Troy Graham says that sounds like a pure load of bull. Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is. Yeah, man. So that's Triller for you. That's what's going on with the fine folks at Triller. Shout out to my guy Peter Khan, who, by the way, I saw Peter Khan at the Edgar Berlanga fight. I'm supposed to go interview George Kambosos this week, so hopefully we get that done for you guys. Going kind of back to that Floyd Mayweather Jake Paul thing, they've already announced a couple of the fights on the undercard, and I wanted to get to that. So a couple of the fights that have been announced on that card. First and foremost, you got Jean Pascal coming back. He's going to be fighting Badu Jack in the rematch. Shout out to Jean Pascal. He's on the undercard. You got Jarrett Hurd versus Luis Arias on the undercard. Let me see. We got anything else? Jean Pascal. Jarrett Hurd, Arias, and that right now is really it. Those are the only 2 fights announced. So good for John Pascal, man. John Pascal has been a long time veteran of the sport. Badu Jack has been probably one of the only solid, consistent Mayweather fighters for years. So it's good that they're getting the rematch because I know a lot of people wanted to see the rematch. But as far as Jarrett Hurd versus Luis Arias, I mean, nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that fight. I mean, Luis Arias, this the same guy, this the same Luis Arias who lost to Luke Keeler. This is the same Luis Arias that I don't think really anybody is gassed to see. Nobody's gassed to see Arias versus Hurd. I mean, and it's been a while since we've seen Hurd. So you got Jarrett Hurd trying to make some waves back in the 154-pound division and try to earn a fight with Jermell Charlo and this ain't it. This ain't it, champ. This ain't it. So it is what it is. I know Luis Arias has that Floyd Mayweather he has that Floyd Mayweather affiliation and he knows him. He has that relationship with him, but still, this ain't it, champ. This ain't it. What are the chances of Vidal Riley on the undercard? I have no clue. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, but I haven't heard anything about it yet. EJ Boxing Live, one of the OGs here on the YouTube boxing community. Shout out to my man EJ Boxing Live. Make sure y'all go subscribe to EJ. He's been around for years. He says, it's greedy and nothing less. That's all it is. It's greed. These damn YouTuber like Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I look at this the same way I look at in soccer the idea they tried making with the European Super League, where all the teams, where all the big teams try to create their own league and crush all the domestic leagues in England and in Spain and Italy. I'm glad that didn't happen, but we can't say the same for boxing. Shout out to my man Oy Vey. He says, salute, BT. What's up, champ? How you living? Yuastis asks, BT, what's your prediction for Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos? That's a great question. Now, I like this fight. I've been probably the only people on earth that think this fight is a good fight because I think people are overlooking George Kambosos. I think people are overlooking what he brings to the table, the experience he's been getting in the gym and in the ring. And I think it'll be a tough fight for Teofimo Lopez. I think Teo will win because Teo is just that much more talented than George, and Teofimo Lopez is a great fighter. But if Teofimo Lopez has any letdown, this fight will be a lot harder than it needs to be for him. And I think there will be a bit of a letdown because how could there not be a letdown after you just beat Lomachenko and got paid $7 million? I don't see how it can't. So I think the fight will be tough. I think it'll end. My prediction for the fight, I think Teofimo Lopez will win a very fun, very competitive 8-round stoppage. Yeah. Keeler, yeah. Kambosos' hand speed may be too much for T. We'll see, man. He's going to throw a lot of punches, but that's also going to leave him a lot of time to be countered. And Teofimo Lopez is a good counterpuncher himself. Very quick. He's got those similar quick twitch muscles, similar to like a Roy Jones, or a younger Mayweather. All right, so I'm gonna get your guys' comments in a second. Shout out to everybody here. Make sure you guys smash the like button. It's the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Your boy BT, the BT in the morning show. We here, coffee with BT, whatever you want to call it. We here in the morning, getting it in. I wanted to talk about Tyson Fury in his most recent comments, also about Eddie Hearn, because he came out recently and he had some choice words for Eddie Hearn. Because let's call a spade a spade. Ever since Eddie Hearn started promoting Canelo Alvarez, he's been all over Canelo. He hasn't really cared about anybody but Canelo. Canelo is his main priority, and rightfully so. Canelo makes the money, but it looks like he don't give a damn about any of his other fighters. So here's what Tyson Fury said. He said this on Instagram, but I'll recite it for you guys. He said, I quote, "Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn are absolute wankers. They're up Canelo Alvarez's rim piece a million miles. Look on the effing webpage. All Canelo, Canelo, Canelo. Do you promote Billy Joe Saunders or not, you little wanky prick? Frank is worth 10 of you, Eddie, you little sausage. He knows how to promote fighters. That's why he's a Hall of Fame promoter. And you know what? I agree with Tyson Fury because me and Pops we just saw Eddie Hearn in person. You know, we were there when Demetrius Andrade fought Liam Williams. We were one of the few in the crowd at the Hard Rock here in Hollywood, Florida. And we had Pops from the stands putting that pressure on Eddie Hearn to make the Demetrius Andrade Canelo fight, yelling at him. And my dad's voice projects. I mean, even this weekend at the Edgar Berlanga fight, I was on the other side of the arena early in the card, and I could hear my dad's voice. I mean, he's loud. I don't know how he carries so much noise in such a small body, but he's loud. So he put that pressure on Eddie Hearn, saying that he wants Demetrius Andrade to fight Canelo because he was talking about all these other guys fighting Andrade. He mentioned Golovkin, he mentioned Charlo, but he mentioned everybody but Canelo. And when the cameras cut off, and when the zone cut the cameras off and whatnot, he looked in our direction from where we were sitting, and he yelled at us, "Wrong weight," basically insinuating that Demetrius Andrade is in the wrong weight class. But he knows better than we do that Demetrius Andrade said many times he'll move to 168 and fight Canelo if the fight becomes available. So with that being said, Eddie Hearn made that statement because Eddie Hearn isn't interested in making the fight for Canelo because he might get Canelo beat, or Canelo Alvarez might not look good in that fight, and it will devalue his brand. It'll devalue this aura of invincibility he has, and that's the last thing Eddie Hearn wants. He wants to keep the gravy train rolling as much as possible until he can't no more. So there is validity to what Tyson Fury is saying because I've seen Eddie Hearn reluctant to make these fights in person myself, you know. And look, next week I'll be there in Texas with my boy Felipe. Shout out to my main man Felipe. You know, the real Jefe, my man out there in Texas. Also, a big shout out to Hearn Detailing and Recon out there in Grand Prairie, Texas. Make sure you guys go there for all of your car needs in Texas. You know, if you need your car fixed, you need your car detailed, you go see my man Felipe out there in Grand Prairie, Texas. Hearn Recon and Detailing on South Baghdad Road. But next week when I go to Texas, and we go there for the Billy Joe Saunders Canelo fight. Billy Joe Saunders, let's make no mistakes about it. Canelo Alvarez is a fantastic fighter. He's elite. He's creme de la creme. He's pound for pound one of the best fighters out there. But so beating a guy like Canelo Alvarez on his own is already difficult enough as it is. But let's make no mistakes about it, and let's not be delusional here. Billy Joe Saunders will have the odds stacked against him like no fighter in boxing this calendar year. This is the first fight that has had this many people in boxing in a long, long time since the pandemic started. You know, we're talking about 70,000 people, 70,000 tickets sold at Cowboy Stadium. So we can't deny the fact that Canelo Alvarez is a money-making machine. And we know that in boxing, you always follow the money. So if this fight is close, Canelo Alvarez is getting a decision. Factor in that the fight is in Texas. It's on Cinco de Mayo weekend. Canelo is the A-side fighter, and you got Eddie Hearn, you know, all over Canelo, all in his favor. Billy Joe Saunders, forget fighting the fight of his life. He's gonna have to fight the fight of 10 lifetimes to beat Canelo Alvarez that night, because that's what it's gonna take to beat Canelo Alvarez in Texas on Cinco de Mayo weekend with the promoter in his back pocket. And a lot of people might hear this and they might say, well, True School Sports, BT, you're making excuses for Billy Joe Saunders and you're just hitting on Canelo like you always do, which isn't true. The fight is good. I commend Canelo Alvarez for finally fighting somebody that's worth a damn, because his last 3 fights, he's fought 3 fighters in a row that were not willing to win. Sergey Kovalev just fought Anthony Yarrow when he fought him, and he threw the fight. What's his name? Callum Smith was never that good to begin with, and Avni Yildirim was a cherry pick mandatory that wasn't even mandated. So I give Canelo credit, because for the first time against Daniel Jacobs, I truly believe he's gonna fight somebody that's coming to win, and I can't fault him for fighting Billy Joe Saunders, because Billy Joe Saunders is a undefeated champion and one of the best technical boxers in the sport. So make no mistakes about it. Canelo Alvarez will have his hands full. Canelo Alvarez will have some fits. And if Canelo Alvarez can blow out Billy Joe Saunders, then that is a statement victory, because nobody's done it to Billy Joe Saunders. And Billy Joe Saunders, on his day, when he's switched on and when he's sharp and when he's right, Billy Joe Saunders is as good as any southpaw fighter out there. So I would definitely say if Canelo Alvarez wins this fight in spectacular fashion, it might even be the best win of his career. Because truthfully, I don't think he beat Triple G legitimately either time. The second time he had more of a claim to a win, but I thought Golovkin won the second fight. The first fight was a straight robbery, and then you look at his career. He fought a bunch of blown up 147s and 154. Like he fought Matthew Hatton and Lovemore Ndu and Carlos Baldomir and all these guys at 154 that were really welterweights. So you got to look at those things. Fought Amir Khan at 160 or whatever it was when he was a middleweight. So his career is a lot of smoke and mirrors, but I give him credit. This is a good fight. This is a good, credible fight. That's why, as a boxing fan, even though I don't like Canelo Alvarez, I got no problem paying for a ticket because I think this is a good fight. I know that if the fight is close, there's no chance in hell Billy Joe's getting a decision, but F it. I'll go there. I'll have a good time. I'll go there with my camera. I'll interview all. I'm letting you guys know in advance. I'm gonna go to Cowboy Stadium, and I'm going to ask these Canelo fans why he's ducking Demetrius Andrade, and I'm sure it'll make for some good content. It'll make for some good content to talk to these Canelo fans out there in Texas, and it'll be a great time. So that's why I'm going, really. But anyway, yeah, Tyson Fury's got it. He's right. He's right. Eddie Hearn don't give a damn about Billy Joe Saunders. Troy Graham says, I got to call you out, True School. Canelo last fights at 168 are for championship fights. Who are the great fighters at 168 that are champions that you want him to fight? Well, that's the thing, Troy. You see, Canelo Alvarez, I commend him and his team because I think they're very smart. I think they're intelligent people. I laugh and I find it comical when they talk about going undisputed and talking about the integrity of competitive boxing. Because that wasn't the case at 160. That wasn't the case at 160 when the last belt remaining was against Demetrius Andrade and they ducked him. Okay? At 168, let's make no mistakes about it. The champions at 168 it's an extremely weak landscape. It's an extremely weak landscape that he walked into. So, okay, he beat Canelo Smith. Anybody who's watched Canelo Smith for any length of time knows that he was not what they propped him up to be. Caleb Plant, a good fighter, but, could we really call Caleb Plant an A-level fighter? I mean, come on. Solid fighter, good boxer, but come on. Billy Joe is probably the best of the guys he'll fight at 168, and Canelo Alvarez is only talking about going undisputed at 168 because Benavidez doesn't have a belt. When Benavidez had a belt, there was no talk of undisputed. There was no talk of Canelo trying to unify this division. So I don't understand why people can't see that. I mean, I'm not gonna say you don't see it because you're one of the smarter people in boxing, but I'm answering your question. He's fighting champions, yes, and credit to him, but we know that in boxing these days, the value of championship belts have been diluted, completely devalued, and Canelo Alvarez is taking advantage of the current landscape of boxing and the current landscape of the super middleweight division. But he's not beating the best fighters around his weight. I mean, make no mistakes about it. From 160 to 175, the three guys that would get Canelo the most trouble, he's not calling them out, which are Demetrius Andrade, Dimitri Bivol, and Benavidez. So that's what I'm saying. But shout out to everybody here, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button. I know I missed quite a few comments, so I'm going to get back to them. Jesus M says, are there only 1,000 fans allowed for the Taylor Ramirez fight? I don't even know yet about that. You might know more about that than me because I haven't checked, but I've been checking almost every single day. Like literally, I've been checking StubHub every single day for when those tickets go on sale, and I haven't seen anything yet. So if they're gonna do something like that, I wouldn't be surprised because the venue that they're gonna be fighting at is a smaller venue. They're not fighting at the MGM Grand or something. So that wouldn't be surprising to me. Eddie Hearn got Billy Joe Saunders his biggest fight. Oh yeah, he did. Listen. He may have got him his biggest fight, and kudos to him. Billy Joe will make a lot of money, so God bless Billy Joe Saunders. But let's not act blind here. We know Eddie Hearn is very, very far up Canelo's rear end. I don't want to curse today. Yeah, to be honest, I don't agree with I don't agree at all with the last part of Tyson Fury's statement. I don't think Frank Warren's that good of a promoter because this weekend, this Friday, he's got Charlie Edwards fighting. Yo, can you guys see me? Yeah, Charlie Edwards is fighting this week against that one champion, and you got like Troy Williamson and guys like that. I mean, Frank Warren is he's whatever as a promoter to me. True School. I asked this question to all the detractors. Okay, you guys can see me good. All right. Honestly, Troy, I don't think Canelo's resume is that good. I think his resume is complete smoke and mirrors. I mean, he's made a career off of fighting smaller guys, um, at 154 and 160. He delayed the Triple G fight, the first fight, and fought Liam Smith for the same WBO title he could have fought Demetrius Andrade for. He picks certain styles, and to me, he hasn't taken that many risks in his career. Okay, you just named a 160 and a 175-pound champ and a man who lost his title on the scales. Okay, well, the 160 guy that I named has been in position to fight Canelo Alvarez twice, three times actually, twice at 154 and once at 160, and it wasn't his fault. The fights that happened, it was Canelo's fault. And Canelo isn't gonna get let off the hook just because he decided he doesn't want to fight at 160 because he wants to duck the guy. So that fight is a fight that needs to happen. Benavidez lost title on the scale. I'll give you that. But 170 at Bivol was a guy that was in prime position to fight Canelo because when Canelo beat Sergey Kovalev, he was light heavyweight champion. But he didn't want to stay light heavyweight champion because he knew he would have to unify and likely unify with the likes of a Bivol or a Beterbiev. So I'm just saying, man, like resume wise, his resume really isn't that it's not that impressive to me. And I want to see him fight somebody who can really give him a challenge. Billy Joe is a good fight. It's a good, credible fight. I'm not gonna disrespect him. This is the best fight Canelo's taken since Daniel Jacobs. But I don't see where everybody's going crazy about the resume talk. Exactly. T20 speaking. I'm with T20. He says Canelo waits till he gets in a division with weak champions and decides to go undisputed. Exactly. Because when he was at 160, this was not the case. This was not the case. He wasn't trying to fight Demetrius Andrade at 160. He went to 168. Okay, True School. What has Boo Boo done in the 175-pounder you named? What have they done? They did what Canelo Smith did. They beat the guys that were put in front of them, and they beat them in much more spectacular fashion. What did Canelo Smith do before he got a Canelo fight? What did Avni Yildirim do when he got a Canelo fight? And don't tell me that Avni Yildirim was a mandatory for Canelo Alvarez because he wasn't mandated. Canelo Alvarez requested the Avni Yildirim fight. He asked for the Avni Yildirim fight because he wanted to take a vacation in Miami and go to a J Balvin concert. That's why he fought Avni Yildirim. Those like Demetrius Andrade, like, people want to say Demetrius Andrade's resume is garbage, but the reality is what most fighters in boxing aren't doing. He's actually honored his belt. He's fought number one mandatories. He's fought contenders. He fought Suleski, who gave Daniel Jacobs a great fight and washed him. He fought my man, U.S. Olympian, two division undefeated champion who wins. He outboxes him. Oh, you can't say that, Troy. Troy says, okay, here's how all the fights. I say that because in the case of Demetrius Andrade, he had a title at 154 before Canelo even had a championship belt at 154. And he called him out while he was champion. You had Demetrius Andrade, the champion, calling out a contender in Canelo. Canelo wouldn't fight him, and he fought James Kirkland. Waited for the WBO to strip him due to inactivity and guys ducking Demetrius Andrade to fight for the same belt that he could have fought him for before he fought James Kirkland. So No, you can't say that with Demetrius Andrade. He had a belt at 160, was calling him out, and when asked about fighting Demetrius Andrade, he said that no, I'm not gonna fight him because he's boring. So you can't say these things, Troy. I love Troy. God bless Troy, but we gonna disagree, man. Demetrius Andrade, I was told by his father in our recent interview and in the recent phone call that I had with him that that's the route they're gonna try to go. They're gonna try to go to 168 because if Demetrius Andrade decides to go to 168 and Canelo Alvarez beats Billy Joe Saunders for the WBO super middleweight title, then Demetrius Andrade as a WBO champion at 160 can then mandate and force the WBO to make him mandatory. It's actually in the rules. The rules state, if you go and you read the WBO rules, it states that if you're a champion in a previous weight class and you have enough accomplishments, if you move up in weight to the next weight class, you can request to be mandatory in the WBO. An example of this would be like when Terrence Crawford, when he went up from 140 to 147. When he went up from 140 to 147, he got the Jeff Hearn fight straight away because he was WBO champion at 140, and he did it, and he was able to get it right away at 147 because of his status at 140. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm gonna go to the fight. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna ask these Canelo fans in Texas, outside of Cowboys, Canelo Alvarez is ducking Demetrius Andrade, and we want some answers, champ. We want some answers. Let me see. All right, I got one more story. I got one more article I'm gonna talk about, and then I'm gonna talk about the Joseph Parker card, and then we're gonna get out of here. But shout out to everybody here. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit that like button. You know, I excuse the weird setup right now. I'm in my new room right now. My new room right now in our new apartment here in Miami. So I'm getting everything set up. You know, I got this new couch recently, so just bear with me. Bear with me. So another interesting story that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and this is a very, very interesting story, and this comes in the smaller weight classes. The smaller weight classes, you know, super flyweight, the best weight class in boxing, bar none. It was reported by Boxing Scene that Kazuto Ioka, fresh off his win against Kosai Tanaka, has tested positive for a drug test and is under investigation by the Japanese Boxing Commission. So I knew it. I knew Kosai Tanaka couldn't just get his ass up like that. Something had to be off about it. So I'll read you guys the article and I'll give you guys my thoughts. So here's what it says in the article. And I quote, Kazuto Ioka is once again at the mercy of his local commission. A drug test surrounding Ioka's eighth round knockout win of his countryman Kosai Tanaka to defend his WBO junior bantamweight title last New Year's Eve at Tokyo's Ota City Gym. The leading newspaper in Japan reported that Ioka tested for cannabis. Oh, for weed? With the sample having been examined at length as part of an ongoing investigation with the National Police Agency as well as the Japanese Boxing Commission. Maso Hatsunori, Ioka's lawyer, informed members of the media in Japan that Tokyo's Ioka has fully cooperated with the investigation, which the attorney believes to have concluded, and with the boxer cleared of any charges. The understanding is that the 4 division champion is cleared of any wrongdoing, although his boxing status will be determined by the Japanese Boxing Commission, whom Ioka's legal team expects to publicly address the issue in the near future. The representatives of Ioka's team, they came out with a statement, and they basically said, I quote, he strongly denies that he has ever used cannabis in any form. And apparently they're saying that the cannabis was due to him using CBD oil. So make of that what you will. Make of that what you will. You know, Kazuto Ioka, I thought it was worse because I didn't actually read the article. I just had it on my computer. Kazuto Ioka basically just tested positive for marijuana. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I doubt anything. I doubt anything crazy or severe will come of it. You know, Kazuto Ioka. I mean, weed's not really a serious thing. You know, with when it comes to unless there's a way, unless there's a way you can use CBD oil and marijuana as a masking agent for something else. I mean, that's the only way I can think of marijuana or weed or CBD oil being a bad thing for a fighter, is if you use it for is if there's a way to use it as a masking agent for other, synthetic testosterone or performance enhancing drugs and things like that. So, that's the news there. And the last thing we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to respond to some comments, is this upcoming card this weekend between Joseph Parker and Dereck Chisora. So let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Hold on, man. This internet is tripping right now. But shout out to everybody out there. It's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. BT in the morning. Coffee with BT, coffee with True School, coffee with the untouchable. We here, man, just talking boxing. Before I get my day started. Let's see. Let's get to it. And by the way, for those of you guys wondering, some programming reminders for you this week. I'm gonna be going to a local fight card here in South Florida. We got some good local fighters fighting this weekend. We got Pistol Pete Dobson, 11-0, 7 knockouts, one of the best kept secrets in the welterweight division. He's headlining a card out in Weston, Florida. He's fighting this weekend. You got Robert Duran Jr., another welterweight prospect, the son of a legend, Roberto Duran, 6-1. 5 KOs. He's fighting this weekend. He's a friend of the channel. You got one of the most interesting prospects in all of South Florida, Isaiah Night Thompson, 3-0, 3 knockouts, all in the first round. He's fighting this weekend. So, it's gonna be a great card. I'll be covering that, and I might be going live for the Joseph Parker Chisora card. I'm not really sure because I might have to go to this card, but hopefully I can. But as far as that card goes, good fight, man. Joseph Parker, Dereck Chisora, it's a good fight, man. You got a guy in Parker who, let's be honest, ever since he lost to Dillian White, he has fought Alexander Flores, he fought Alex Leopai, he fought Shondell Terrell Winters, and he fought Junior Fa. And all 4 of these opponents were all guys that he was supposed to look spectacular against, and all 4 times he won, and he found ways to win, but he was not impressive. He wasn't the Joseph Parker of old. So this prompted Joseph Parker to make some changes to his training team. He got rid of Kevin Berry, sacked Kevin Berry. He brought in Andy Lee. And Andy Lee is a guy that when he was fighting was known for having an aggressive style. He comes from that Emmanuel Stewart lineage and whatnot, and he did work and learned under Sugar Hill Stewart as a trainer, and was part of Team Fury when Fury beat Wilder in the rematch. So, with that being said, a Dereck Chisora, who is getting, in my opinion, he's gotten better in the latter stages of his career. We've seen Dereck Chisora knock off the likes of Carlos Takam. He's given Dillian White some great fights. And even Chisora, he's brought in Buddy McGirt to teach him. And he's showing, even at this advanced stage of his career, that he still wants to learn and that he still wants to be the best version of himself moving forward. So I'm looking forward to this fight because I feel like you got heavyweights that, as far as their age, they're on 2 different sides of the spectrum. You got one guy who should be in his prime, and you got one guy that should be on the back nine in the twilight of his career. But the guy that's in the twilight of his career, I think he's been having better performances than the guy that's supposedly in his prime. So this fight is good for the landscape of heavyweight boxing. It's going to let us know who is where, and a win here for Chisora is going to really put him in line for some big things. Because Parker, when we talk about the best fighters aside from the champions, but aside from like Joshua and Fury, who are the creme of the division, you would have to say Joseph Parker is in the top 5 of the non-champions. You have your Usyks and your Ruizes and guys like that. Obviously Deontay Wilder, guys like that. But he had to be included in there because this guy was WBO champion himself. He's had a piece of the title himself, and you gotta respect that. Chisora always comes to fight, and what's so intriguing about this fight is you have one guy in Chisora who always comes to fight against a guy in Parker who doesn't always come to fight. So something's got to give. Either Parker is gonna fight, and we're gonna see the extra bit of quality come out of him, or he's gonna get exposed and be dropped a couple of levels in the pecking order of heavyweight boxing. So I'm very intrigued for that fight. You got an excellent fight between the women. You got Katie Taylor, taking on Natasha Jonas in a amateur rematch. I believe Katie Taylor beat her in the amateurs. Natasha Jonas is coming off of a good performance, but a tough loss against Terry Harper back in, I think it was September of last year. So that's a good fight. You have Chris Eubanks Jr. He's returning to the ring, under the tutelage and the watchful eye of Roy Jones Jr. And he's taking on a domestic level fighter in Marcus Morrison, who, in my opinion, has absolutely no business being in the ring with Chris Eubanks Jr. I think it's a gross cherry pick, a gross mismatch on the part of Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing to try to make Chris Eubanks Jr. look good, because Marcus Morrison is a guy that he got whooped by Tyann Booth. He already lost to Tyann Booth, and if you listen to Tyann Booth, and I like Tyann Booth. He's pretty funny. I like his channel. Shout out to TyFL TV. Go subscribe to Tyann Booth and TyFL TV. Nothing but love for Tyann Booth and TyFL TV. But if you listen to the Tyann Booths of the world, you really shouldn't be fighting guys like Chris Eubanks Jr. Not that Chris Eubanks Jr. is this great fighter, but Chris Eubanks Jr. has been in there with world level guys and given them good fights, like George Groves and guys like that. So, that's my opinion on that. And then you got who else is on that card? There's somebody else I'm forgetting. Who else is on that card? Let me see. Let me check it out. Shout out to everybody here, man. Almost an hour has gone by already. Where we at? Where the hell is this card at? Because freaking BoxRec is tripping right now. BoxRec doesn't want your boy BT to be informed. The fact that Chisora has such a big fan base is a problem. Why is that a problem? He's fought everybody. He's fought Vitaly Klitschko and Tyson Fury and Dillian White. He's fought high profile names. So when you fight these high profile guys and you fight your heart out and you give it your best efforts, and you have a decent personality and you're personable, you're gonna be likable. And he's entertaining. He throws tables. He does stupid shit which people like. So make of it what you will. Oh, all right. So the main reason that I'm actually excited for this card Saturday with Parker and Chisora is because we got one of the three guys that I think would beat Canelo and beat him soundly if they ever fought is Dimitri Bivol. Bivol this week he's fighting Craig Richards, who's a solid, a good high level British fighter. I would say he's a high level British fighter. He's teetering around that European level right now, but he's stepping up to world level. He's taking on one of the best fighters out there in terms of talent, in terms of skills, in terms of ability, in Dimitri Bivol. So he's going to go in as a massive underdog. And look, I've watched Craig Richards fight a couple of times. The one fight of his that really sticks out in my head the most, it was, I can't remember which card it was, but he had a fight against another British fighter named Andre Sterling. And Andre Sterling fights in a high guard and was coming forward and was aggressive. And Andre Sterling was having his success against Craig Richards. He was having his success. He was having his way. And he did whatever he wanted to do against Craig Richards. Craig Richards had what I call the British amateur style, which when you're fighting in front of British judges, if you have the kind of style to where you pick your shots and you land one little hard counter here and there, that's more favorable than somebody who breaks you down and goes to the body and is just consistent throughout the rounds. So he got a decision over Andre Sterling because of the style. But he's fighting Bivol, and there's no way in hell he's going to outskill Bivol. So I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued to see what kind of approach Craig Richards takes in a fight like this. So that's going to be a good fight, and Bivol needs to make a statement. He needs to make a statement against this guy, and he needs to create that demand for the Canelo fight. Because I'll tell you this, if Dimitri Bivol makes the statement or if he just beats Craig Richards in sensational fashion, hell, if he just wins and it's not controversial, I'm doing a video. Canelo needs to stop ducking Dimitri Bivol because I want to see Canelo fight somebody. He's the face of boxing, so I'm going to hold him to those standards. He needs to fight guys that are going to bring the best out of him. Oh, and then also on this card, you got the return of Scott Fitzgerald, the guy that beat Anthony Fowler, a guy that's been out of the ring for a long time, who we need to see get back to it. This guy, after he beat Anthony Fowler, he was looking like one of the dark horses of the 154-pound division, and he's had a lot of problems outside the ring. So hopefully, this is a stay busy fight. He's fighting a TBA. Hopefully he can get it together, and that's pretty much my my little breakdown on the card this week. But We're an hour in, so I'm going to stay on for like 10 more minutes or so. You guys drop your comments with your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Just getting it in, man. Just staying sharp, talking boxing. Letting you guys know that I'm here, I'm alive, I'm in good spirits. God has blessed me with more good health. We're going to the Canelo fight next weekend. And I got a lot of great things planned for you guys on the channel. Slotelo wants to know, does hand size matter in boxing? That's a great question, and I don't know, man. That's a great question. I think it definitely helps. Like if your hand is wide in diameter, I feel like if you got dense hands and they're wide, you're gonna make a bigger impact. But to be honest, I'm not really sure. It's not a question that I've thought too deeply about, but it has crossed my mind before. Luis B says those were tainted supplements by Ioka. Well, probably. Someone asked me, have I seen the Deontay Wilder highlight clips of him hitting the pads with Malik Scott? And I saw him a little bit. I saw them yesterday in passing, but I didn't really like sit there and look at it too long. But you guys are saying that he looks really robotic. So is Deontay Wilder going to become a Russian fighter now? He gonna look crazy Russian? Deontay Wilder gonna go in there fighting like he's Victor Postal. Deontay Wilder's gonna turn into the black heavyweight Victor Postal. Jesus M says, when is the next live? The next live will probably be tomorrow morning when I wake up. I'll probably go live. Wait, no, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's what, Thursday? Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. So I don't know about tomorrow morning, but it might be tomorrow morning. As far as the next live fight reaction, I gotta see. When's this? It might be Saturday because I can't give you a definitive answer right now because I'm going to a local card, which is like really far from where I live now. Because I moved to a part of Miami which is like really out the way, so everything's far from me. So I gotta see like how the times work out. Let's see. What time does this? I'll give you your answer right now. Hold on. What time does this Parker Chisora card start? What time does Joseph Parker fight start? That's what we need to know. Deontay needs some leg work. Deontay needs some leg work. Workouts. His legs are weak. You can draw a lot of power and defense from your footwork and leg strength. He's neglecting that. Hey, that's on him. You know, he's a grown man. I'm sure someone has told him and jokingly told him, hey, you need to stop skipping leg day. What time does Dereck Chisora fight start? That's what we need to know. All right. The main card is expected to commence around 7 p.m. local time, which is 2 p.m. on East Coast. So what? Dereck Chisora versus Milan. Because I need to know this for myself. I need to know when the hell these cards start so I could plan my day out. So Parker Chisora, the card starts at 2 o'clock. And how many fights is it? You got about 5 or 6 fights. The lives are generally 3 hours or so. So if the fights end at 6, I'm in Homestead. The fights in Weston. Hold on. It's crazy, man. You move somewhere. You move to a city really far out the way, and it just changes how you do everything. How far is Homestead from Weston? Shout out to everybody here, man. I'm sorry if you guys see me talking to myself. I'm trying to work something out in my head. Weston. Parker for the knockout is a good bet. You guys heard it. You guys heard it from the man himself, John the Gambler. He letting you guys know, my main man, John the Gambler. He's pretty spot on. So Homestead from Winston from Homestead is an hour away. The car starts at 2 o'clock. There's like, what? There's like 4 or 5 fights. Let me see. What time does the card I go to start? My man said Andy Ruiz is the #1 heavyweight in the world. He's about to light it up. Yeah, and hey, shout out to him. I'm glad you brought it up. He's fighting this weekend, and the good thing about Areola is like one thing we do know about Areola is Areola can take an ass whooping. Areola's durable. He could take an ass whooping. He comes to fight. Even in his last fight when he fought what's his name? When he fought Adam Kalnaki, he gave a fantastic account of himself. So you can't hate on Chris Arreola. He's not the best fighter in terms of skill or ability, but he makes up for it with his durability and his willingness to come there and fight. When the hell does this fight? What time does this fight start? Yeah, you know what? The next live fight reaction, I don't know. It'll be probably Saturday. I'll go live for Parker versus Chisora. I will not be live for Ruiz versus Arreola because I'm gonna be covering a local fight here in South Florida. But I'm gonna go live for Ruiz versus Parker. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man 704 Joe. What's good, Chav? He says, I refuse to watch this bullshit, this so-called fight. Slotello says, do a live reaction to the Deontay Wilder footage right now. All right, let's check it out. I don't think I'll be able to access it on my on Instagram because Deontay Wilder blocked me on Instagram about 6 years ago. So let me see if I can find it on YouTube. All right, so what's his name? Deontay Wilder. Let's see what they got. Fight hype. Deontay Wilder back in training. First look, new moves, and rebirth. Right hand bombs since Fury Law. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's get a good reaction. Let's get a good look. Let's get a good look to this Deontay Wilder new training footage. It's your boy BT, the Untouchable. Giving you guys that live reaction. Let's see. Let me see. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me put this sound on right quick. I find it insane that Deontay Wilder knocked Malik Scott out and gave him a job. What a guy. Okay. Let's see. He seems to have a bit more flow. Oh, okay. Good little jab there by Wilder. He's fainting. Okay. I actually like it. Working on some head movement. Okay, Deontay. Stabbing down to the stomach with that jab. There you go. Good jab to the stomach. There you go. Yeah, I like it, man. I actually like it. Yeah, you guys say he's robotic. I don't think he's robotic at all. I think you see him moving, changing angles, changing levels. He actually looks pretty good. I'll be damned. Okay, champ. Still ain't being Tyson Fury, but yay. I know you will, bro. I really hope Deontay Wilder can come back and do his thing. Troy Graham is emphatic and says Deontay Wilder is retired. Hey, until he fights again, I'm gonna have to agree with you. He is retired. But yeah, man, a lot of you guys are shitting on his pad work. I didn't think it was that bad. I'm gonna watch it again. To get a good look. Smash that like button. It's your boy BT the Untouchable. Let's get a good look again at Deontay Wilder's pad work. Okay. Not too bad. Got a little flow going. It looks like Malik Scott's trying to take some of the little boxing skills he had and show Deontay Wilder. Good for him, man. Good for him. All right. So that's what it is there, man. But look, it was nice talking to you guys. Good morning to everybody. Hope you guys having a blessed day out there. It's your boy BT, the Untouchable. I'm going to get up on out of here, but listen. I'll be live Saturday for Joseph Parker versus Dereck Chisora. There's going to be more interviews coming out this week. I got an interview coming out with Pistol Pete Dobson, welterweight prospect. That'll come out. Check out the Zhukan interviews. Check out the Philip Hergovic interviews. Check out the Zhukan training footage. And just be on the lookout for any and all videos coming out here on True School Sports. And yeah, man, hope everybody's good. You know, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me, you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.